I am shocked about what happened this week. And by shocked, I mean not even close to surprise. But before we even talk about the finals, we're going to talk about the third place game because something actually surprising did happen in the third place game. El Captain against Team Livin' La Vida Yoda. Very interesting. I hate when, and I'm sure a lot of people here, hate when someone who makes a simple error, as in starting someone who doesn't play, gets rewarded. But that happened. El Captain starts James Conner despite being a clear inactive before the game. Not like a last second. It was an inactive before the game. Clearly wasn't paying attention, but he still gets rewarded with the most insane performances by Joe Burrow and T. Higgins to get 100 points between Joe Burrow and T. Higgins. If before this week you offered me $1 if they don't do that, and my life if they do that, I'd bet that because the odds were so in the favor that I would take that dollar with ease. Yet somehow, maybe I wouldn't, that's a really stupid bet, but somehow they total over 100 points between the two guys, which clearly is the lone reason that you get an actual comfortable win against Team Livin' La Vida Yoda, a team that I look at as a strong team that of course didn't show up for so many reasons, the main thing being Kamara, being with Ian Book, absolute no performance at 7.9. You started banged up Adam Thielen. He only gets you 7. Gesicki also in that negative game script game for the New Orleans Miami game, do nothing. And you couldn't get any late help to support the Justin Jackson and Dallas defense game, where I'd say 99% of teams that have Justin Jackson and Dallas defense together win, but I'd say 100% of teams who have Burrow and T. Higgins win. You got to be happy for Team El Captain getting third place here. I think it's a very respectable finish, and I'm happy for him. I mean, I wish that he didn't. I wish that he didn't play someone who didn't play, but you still earned the victory, and that's what it is. The main attraction here is the finals game. This is what we'll do a deep dive into. We predicted, just to remind everybody, because my predictions have been kind of on point. Definitely not a no-brainer, but I'd say above par. The prediction for the finals was Glory Hole winning by 55 points. It turns out to be a 75-point win. I'll give myself a good guess with that one, predicting the right guy and knowing that it was going to be a comfortable but not humiliating victory, at least against Pain Train. Pain Train X now, I don't know if it was always Pain Train X, but for Team Glory Hole, we'll talk about you first. Everyone decided, you know what, we're going to come out and perform. Do I have a guess as to what happened with the defensive spot? I don't. I think it looks like New Orleans was Monday night and you benched him. But I don't get why, because you were so clearly going to win on Sunday night. I guess there's no way to get negative enough points. So maybe it was like a bragging thing. Either way, let's assume you had New Orleans D in. They get you the 8 points. Overall, I mean, that's an incredibly effective performance, 236 points. There's no one that didn't show up for you. I mean, everyone you'd expect to show up because you have such a strong team, but this is what we were talking about all season long as far as good management, good depth, and you'll have the flexibility no matter what to perform well. There was no situation where Team Glory Hole doesn't make the run that they did, given how many options they had. Some teams, if you get an injury, you're kind of done. This team could have had 3 injuries and still would have been able to make a push. I mean, fortunately for you, your bench guys who are big names could perform well, didn't really perform that well. So fortunately for you, you had the starting lineup that you did. But even if not, and there was another week in this season, you have the guys that would make me feel super comfortable with you still making a run. Even if, let's say, Chase and Chubb got injured, I still think this would be a favorite to beat a team like Pain Train. So with that said, you continue your reign and you win the title, and it's the most deserved title of all time. I think this team should go down. I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts. I think this team should go down as the best team in league history. I think this is the best team out of any other leagues that I'm recapping, including my own. I think overall this team was completely dominant. And again, it's not because they necessarily had the first, second, third best fantasy guy. You didn't have Cooper Kupp. You didn't have Jonathan Taylor. But when you have so many still mid or low end RB1 wide receiver ones, and it just packs your entire roster, you're gonna find your way to what you did and winning the title. So congratulations to you. For Pain Train, really quickly, very respectable. I mean, 153 obviously is not dominant, but it's a very, very respectable way to go out of the season, especially the way that you filled your roster up. I mean, with DeAndre Swift's injury, you still were able to plug in the running back position pretty effectively. Unfortunately, Clyde Edwards-Helaire getting banged up was bad luck, but Joe Mixon does get you 32 points. Javonte Williams, despite an off week, really did provide a lot of value down the stretch. At wide receiver, despite having to really pull to the bottom, you had to go Antonio Brown, who was out for the last 4 weeks, but you lean on him. He gets 15 targets, 100 yards. You go Amon-Ra St. Brown, if that's how you pronounce it correctly, and he goes 11 targets, 9 catches, 91 yards. So this is very different in that you weren't stacked with a bunch of guys that are no-brainers, but you make really good calls, and you ended up getting value from guys who probably in the rankings wouldn't be as high. And you put up a fight. Unfortunately, Glory Hole was not losing no matter who they were up against, but you put up a fight, and that's the way it goes. The last thing I'll just say here is fantasy never goes the way you expect because there is so much luck involved. I make predictions all the time for all these leagues, and I like my predictions, but I'm wrong obviously so much because it just never go. The best teams don't perform, whatever it might be. The fact that you've had such a clear winner from like week 4 to today is actually a thing of beauty. It's a thing of beauty, and I hope you guys enjoy. First of all, I've been hyping up Glory Hole so much. I might have said this already, but I just hope there's a good person. And it's not like the asshole of the league that's like cocky or whatever, and then I'm just feeding the fire or whatever it is. But it is a beautiful thing to see, a complete dominance, and I'm assuming next year is going to be another story. I think last year Professor S won it all, and then this year you saw what happened to Professor S. We'll see what happens with management with Glory Hole, but either way, fantastic overall performance. Very proud of the effort everyone put in, but it made my job a lot easier to be able to just come back every week and say, Glory Hole did it again. Well, Glory Hole's probably going to win. Glory Hole did it again. And I do love checking off a correct prediction for who's going to win it all. Thank you, everyone, for the season. I wish you all a great offseason full of health and happiness, and I hope you don't miss football too much. And, have a good one, everybody. Congrats to Glory Hole.